Hello and welcome to another edition of the Pondwater Dave Show. My name is Justin Davis, your host as always. And as always, I'm joined by the namesake of this show, the great Dave Miller, Pondwater Dave, and the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn. What is going on this week, guys and gals?
Well, it's been a pretty tough week.
Yes, it has.
It's been a hard week, but kind of at a loss for words.
Yeah. Of course, Dave's talking about we lost our friend, the fantastic Josh Odom this week or last week. I guess it's been a week today.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't get to talk about it on last week's show because we had recorded before we knew about it. So we just wanted to take the time here at the beginning of the show just to say how much we love Carla, his dear wife, and his kids, and we pray for them. I know they've raised a lot of money on the GoFundMe. It's up over $12,000 now, which is fantastic. So if you have the ability to give and help his family out, because this was definitely shocking and unexpected.
It really was. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I got the news. I mean, he was just about to turn 34, and if I just urge everybody that if something's going on with you different, if you got a headache and you don't normally get headaches, and you have a headache over an extent, after a few days, maybe it's not a sign of weakness to get something checked. He had a stroke, and it's just so sad because he's such a good guy. I mean, one of the best people that you'll ever meet. I really got to know him pretty good when he was producing the after show for us, and he'd find one thing to mess with you about. And his thing for me was to start giving me a hard time about the Von Erichs. Like, there it is, kind of like little Jimmy with Japan.
Yeah, just recently he gave me no end of hell for a Mount Rushmore question that I gave to Bill Apter or somebody, and he was not a fan of it. And he let me know, and I threatened to kick him out of the Bret Hart fan club. So I said, but I do love Josh. He was just very quick-witted, very funny. He would always keep you on your toes, so to speak.
Yeah, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his wife Carla and his kids and all of his friends. He's going to definitely be missed. But and when he pick at you, it wasn't mean spirited. So, but like a dog with a bone, he was relentless.
Yes. We're gonna miss you, Josh, and we will see you on the other side for sure.
And I don't know how to shift gears after something like that. So we'll power through the best we can.
Well, let's talk about what the title of this show is, which is Ric Flair's first last match. Which I like that. It's his first last match, taking place against the some guy from Texas named Shawn Michaels. I think it was his first match. I've never heard of. But yeah, so we got some trivia from Miss Amy Vaughn, as we do every week. Eddie Prather's favorite part of the show.
Exactly.
Before we do trivia, we hadn't had a show and tell in a while, so let me show off a little bit. I told y'all that I recently sold a belt at a show. Well, I replaced it, and it's back, and it's better than ever.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Look out, Mississippi. I am your champion. My good friend Muhammad Zubair with Rutland Championship belts replaced it for me. I got those stacked plates. I'm bad to the bone. And I'm not teasing.
Well, thank you for
Nice.
that. The Belt King adds to his collection over there.
Exactly. And we have, speaking of show and tell, we've got a lot of people in our chat right now that are just talking about Bobby. He's talking about how many teaching days he has left. I have 2. So
Yeah, thanks guys
until
for
our
riding
school's out.
along with us.
We got
Exactly.
Bobby, we got Terry Weaver, of course, and Gianni's back, Martello. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming along with us again.
Exactly.
And we're talking about. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just going to say, where is Eddie? That's kind of odd.
Uh,
Is he not here yet?
I don't know.
He fell asleep last week. Or last week he took a
I
nap.
think he's probably writing a hateful letter to Jerry Jones right now. We are talking about Ric Flair's first last match. So Miss Amy
Yes.
Hall, I think, has some last match trivia for us here today.
Exactly. We are going to be looking at all those people that have retired and had a retirement match. Again, some of these end up coming back, but you don't know till you don't know. So at the time, that was the retirement match. So number 1, at what WrestleMania did we see the Ultimate Warrior defeat the Macho King Randy Savage in a career versus career match? Was it 6, 7, 8, or 9?
I'm totally guessing that it was 6.
I know it wasn't 6 because that was Hogan and Warrior. It's either 7 or 8. And I want to say that 8 was the wedding thing lead up with Ric Flair, and that would have been a retirement match. WrestleMania 8.
Actually, you're on the right track, Justin, but it was 7.
Oh, 7 with Warrior. 8
So
with Flair. Yes.
We had it surrounded, Justin.
you had
I
definitely
did.
had it surrounded. So WrestleMania
I
7.
short circuited at the end. I wanted to say 7 the whole time.
I was going to say WrestleMania 7
didn't
was
think that-
held.
I didn't think Warrior made it that many years.
He did. So this was WrestleMania 7. It was in Los Angeles, California. So Ultimate Warrior defeated Randy Savage in 20 minutes and 48 seconds. But the events after the match are just as famous as the match itself. So after the loss to Ultimate Warrior, Queen Sherry turned on Randy Savage and started kicking him. Started kicking him, berating him. Exactly. Sherry, yes. So it just so happened to be in the audience, Miss Elizabeth was watching all of this, and she had had enough. She jumped out of her seat, crossed
She
a
bought a ticket?
barrier. Apparently, yes. And they showed her all throughout the match. Like she was like
a
lower
stop?
bowl. Like she wasn't ringside or anything.
You got that ticket at Ticket R Us.
No kidding. She grabbed Sherry by the hair and threw her out of the ring. After that, Randy and Elizabeth reunited, and there was not a dry eye in the house. They actually show on the video people crying. Even though Randy and Elizabeth united at this show, and this led to the A Match Made in Heaven wedding at SummerSlam, they were actually already married. How many years? Oh, no. What year did Randy and Elizabeth actually wed? Was it 1980, 1981, 1984, or 1985? 80, 81, 84, 85.
Been thinking. And I'm gonna go with 4, Miss Amy Vaughn. Yeah.
84, dig it.
Both of you all are correct. They have been married since December of 1984, which made them married for almost 7 years when they had their on-screen wedding. All right. At WrestleMania 27, we would see at least what we thought would be the last match of Edge, as he had to come out on Raw the next day and relinquish the championship Championship and retire due to spinal stenosis. Who had he wrestled in the match before? Who had he wrestled in his WrestleMania match? Was it Cena, Barrett, Del Rio, or Orton?
Orton.
Justin said Orton. What do
I'm
you
gonna
say,
say
on
Cena.
water? Actually, Del Rio was the winner of the Royal Rumble 2011. He
I knew it should have
won.
been Del Rio because there's no other reason for him to be on any list unless he's the
Well,
answer.
yeah, yes.
Oh,
So Del
I
Rio.
bet he's registered on a list or two.
Oh, that's true. Possibly. But you're right. So Del Rio was the winner of the Royal Rumble 2011, which, as we all know, got him a ticket to WrestleMania against the heavyweight champion.
I will wholeheartedly assure you, if I watched that WrestleMania, I did not watch that match.
Well, and Ken, it's almost like hindsight because obviously it wasn't until the Raw after WrestleMania that anybody even, knew that Edge had those problems and that he was, going to have to retire. So this is a short answer, I guess you could say. What is so special about the Royal Rumble 2011?
Short answer, I'm going to say Bobby KF5 GTX.
Oh, Bobby. I'll smack him next time I see him just for you.
So,
There is something special about Royal Rumble 2011. Can you tell me what it was?
uh-oh.
On Water is so popular.
It's like we're working with Bruce Pritchard.
I know. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, pal.
Was that Vince on the phone? Do you need to go, Pond Water?
No, probably somebody wanted to talk to me about my car extended warranty.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. That's
Have
true.
you checked on that in a while?
Pond Water, do you have a guess? What was so special about the Royal Rumble 2011? You're going to kick yourselves when I tell y'all.
I have no idea.
Somebody came back.
It is the only time 40 men have had entry versus the customary 30. It has not been duplicated except for one other time when they had 50 men enter the greatest Royal Rumble event, which was held in Saudi Arabia in 2018.
I would disagree with that. I have seen 40 men in the ring more than that, but I don't think it was on WWE programming. But go ahead.
For a Royal Rumble?
No, just 40 men in a ring. Let's just say that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Gianni, I would have took the call.
Yeah.
He would have just answered it if that was the case.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So that's what's so special about Royal Rumble 2011. It had 40 participants versus the customary 30. I could never really find out why. Why they did 40 at that time, I don't know. I mean, they had a pretty big roster, but anyway. Lita decided to retire and chose Survivor Series 2006 to be her last match. Who did she wrestle in her, quote, retirement match?
Trish Stratus.
No. Do you want the options?
Yes.
All righty. It was okay, your options are Mickie James, Michelle Cool, Trish Stratus, or Molly Holly.
Well, we've already used our lifeline thing there.
You've already used really. You've already used the call a friend.
I'm gonna go Mickie James.
JD, Justin, who do you
Did you
think?
say Molly Holly was one?
I did say Molly Holly was one.
I think that was Buddy Holly's niece, so I'm going to say Molly Holly.
It was actually against Mickie James. So what had happened, I'm sorry, my papers got messed up. So what had happened is that Trish Stratus had actually already retired a couple months ago. So she had her last match with Lita, but uh, Lita won. This was against Mickey James. So it was, let's see here. Lita entered the Survivor Series 2006 as the women's champion and wanted to retire as the greatest women's champion by retaining her title when she retired. However, Mickey James hit a tornado DDT and defeated Lita in 8 minutes and 18 seconds. This would
MIC.
be.
See you in the sewer, sucker. AY. Because you got to go, ho.
Pretty sure that's not how that song goes, but we'll just go. No. This would be Mickey James' second title reign. All righty. So at WrestleMania 26, we saw The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels go at it in a career versus streak match. Shawn Michaels was not able to defeat the Phenom and break the streak, thus forcing him to retire. How many years did Shawn Michaels go before he came out of retirement and was involved in a match again?
What year did you say the first thing was?
I didn't. I just said it was WrestleMania 26.
Oh, I heard 6. I thought you said 2006. I'm like,
are we getting a choice on? Is there
Yes.
multiple choice here?
There is a multiple choice. Was it 8, 9, 12, or 13? How many
12.
years did Shawn Michaels go before he came out of retirement and was
12
involved in a
guess.
match? Palmwater says 12. You have 8, 9,
go 8.
12, or 13. Justin is correct. It is 8. So Shawn Michaels came out of retirement to participate in the main event at Crown Jewel in 2018. WrestleMania 26 was in 2010. So it's 8 years. DX, so it was a tag match. DX, Triple H and Shawn Michaels was a versus the Brothers of Destruction. Was that? Good job. Good job. Okay. At what pay-per-view did we see Scott Steiner defeat Kevin Nash in a loser must retire, no disqualification, 2 out of 3 falls count anywhere, World Heavyweight Championship match? Okay. Was it at the pay-per-view Greed, Fall Brawl, Mayhem, or Super Brawl?
That's got to be Greed. That is some Vince Russo crap right there.
I'm going to do some Scott Steiner math. Take 2 out of 3 falls and you divide that in half. I still have half of 2/3 and you only have half of 1/3. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go with, I agree with Dave. Greed or sin or gluttony, whatever the hell those things were called. I'm going with that.
Bobby in the chat is correct. It was actually Super Brawl Revenge. Now, this Super Brawl Revenge was one of the last 3 pay-per-views in WCW history. So this was in 2001. It actually happened on February 18th, 2001 in the Municipal Auditorium in Nashville. That's where...
It's easy for you to say.
I'm telling you. But I was thinking that's where Ric Flair's last match was, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And they had to move it to the Municipal Auditorium. So, the other pay-per-views during that year, obviously before they were bought by WCW or WWE, was Greed and Sin. So, Super Brawl Revenge is where we saw that.
Sounds to me like Mr. Russo was a fan of the movie 7.
Possibly.
Yes.
Man, I hate that they went out of business before we got Sloth.
Yeah.
Glutton.
We'd have Yokozuna versus Earthquake at the main event.
Right. That's glutton right there. So, at the pay-per-view, Nash won the title in 17 seconds by pinning Steiner after he hit him with what? Was it a pipe, the title belt, the ring belt, or a loaded shoe?
These nuts.
No, D's
Oh.
nuts was not an option.
Then I'm gonna go with the pipe.
Yeah. Feed him that pipe. It's my
I
motto.
heard Kevin Nash was laying pipe a lot.
Well, not in this match. He wasn't. Actually, it was the title belt.
Huh?
So Nash comes out and or Nash and Steiner in the ring. Nash hits Steiner with the belt, pins him. When he wins in this fashion, that's when Ric Flair comes out to say, hey, this match is also a 2 out of 3 falls and a no disqualification. So it started off just as a world heavyweight title match. And a career versus, or I guess a loser has to leave town kind of thing. So then later in the match, Steiner incapacitated Nash outside the ring. So that's when Ric Flair declared that it was also a falls count anywhere match. So eventually, Ric Flair threw a chair to Steiner, which he used on Nash to pin him 1, 2, 3. So a very, very, you're right. That does definitely seems like something that Russo, the layering that Russo liked to do and the swerves. All righty. So
swerves, bro.
And when Steiner incapacitated Nash outside the ring, that is where he used the lead pipe. So, all right, now we're on to some ECW. Tommy Dreamer has been dubbed as the heart and soul of ECW, not only because of a legendary wrestling career, but also due to having many, many backstage and business roles. So when ECW and WCW were purchased by WWE, Tommy Dreamer arrived on the WWE screens as part of the ECW/WCW Alliance Invasion angle of 2001. On December 29, 2009, he fought what wrestler in which the stipulation was if Dreamer loses, he would have to retire? Is it Goldust, Jack Swagger, RVD, or Zack Ryder? He fought someone December 29th, 2009. And in the
It's gotta be RVD.
RVD is your choice. You've got.
Me too.
You're both wrong. It was so random. It was Zack Ryder.
All right.
And there was woo woo. Put the kibosh
and now
on.
we know it. We didn't know it before, but we know it now.
Mm-hmm. Now
hey,
you know it.
Thanks for waking up and joining us, Ed.
Hey, Eddie. Yeah, really. Yes. So, last question. We don't talk enough about Tommy Dreamer. So, as you all know, he is married. Her name is Trissa Hayes, which is also known as Beulah McGillicuddy. And they have twin girls. But do you know how many times Tommy won the ECW Heavyweight Championship belt? And it's fill in the blank.
Just one.
I'm going to say twice.
Justin is correct.
No,
so
I know my EC dub, Dave.
Well, and actually, he won it once under the ECW umbrella, and then he also won it when ECW was part of the WWE umbrella. So he won it twice. So I hope all of you all learned a little bit something about some of these retirement matches. Some people really did think they had to retire, and we've seen pretty much every one of them wrestle again in some capacity. So, you know, you just never know, right? You just can't ever guess what might happen. So
my favorite retirement match was 1993 when a little slapdick Justin got to see Ric Flair go bye-bye. Never had to see him on my WWE anymore, Dave, and I like
well, I couldn't really talk about that.
How'd that work out for you, Justin?
Just fine. 94 and 5 Raw was fantastic.
And here to think, what, almost 30 years later, right? Here we are.
Yep. As an old principal of mine always said, whenever he had a problem that he didn't know how to fix with the parent, he'd say, after all that, here we are. And they would accept that as the answer and they'd get up and walk out of the office.
I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be fun. This was a big deal because I knew that I hated it because Vince McMahon started screwing with Flair and told him the next match you lose is your last one.
Yes.
You're gonna have to retire if you lose another match. So the build, you knew at that point that something was coming for WrestleMania because you knew he wasn't going to go out, on Raw or ECW or SmackDown. So we're going to rewind back to 2008, the night after No Way Out. And I'm going to say the date was February the 18th, 2008. On Raw, the night after the pay-per-view, Mike Adamy was in the ring, and he introduces Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels duty bops his bad self down to the ring, and he makes an announcement that Ric Flair is going in the Hall of Fame. He's all choked up, said nobody deserves it more than Rick does. They showed some vintage clips of Flair's career. To this day, I love when they show vintage clips of Flair's career. Nothing better than Ric Flair highlight packages.
True.
They're like Amber Lynn. Never mind. We're not going to go there tonight. Eddie's on Google looking up Amber Lynn now. Actually, Ginger Lynn is what I was trying to say. But anyway, I digress. He said nobody deserves it more than Flair, and he got the crowd to do woos. Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, Flair didn't appear on this show. And Flair didn't even acknowledge, the first time he spoke about going in the Hall of Fame was actually on an episode of ECW. So it's kind of
Sorry. Did you see what Terry wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, that made me laugh. I'm sorry. Took a girl named Amber Lynn to the prom. I bet you did.
Everybody, all the girls where Terry grew up had two names, like Becky Sue, Amber Lynn.
Have you ever seen that? Did y'all ever see that movie Ted?
Oh Lord, yes.
Teddy bear, and then he started naming off all those girls' names.
Yes, that was I didn't know what I was getting into when I went to that movie with my husband.
Did you laugh or did you pout because you were there?
No, I tell you what happened. A family came in, like 3 and 4-year-old kids, and sat 3 rows ahead of us, and I was more pissed watching it, thinking you're letting your 3-year-old watch this movie, because as being an optimist, I was like, okay, they're in the wrong. They thought this was something different, it's a teddy bear or whatever, and no, they didn't, and I was thoroughly pissed the whole entire time. You can ask my husband. I was so mad that those people. That's just. I'm sorry, and I love all of you all. That's trash. I'm sorry. If you're bringing your 3-year-old to a rated R movie, especially that one, that was bad.
Yeah.
Like, that was horrible. Yeah. This isn't Care Bears. No kidding.
Amy Karened out on some people at a movie theater.
So did you light candles at church after that, or did you do a bonfire?
Probably had to do a bonfire because I was pissed. And like I said, yeah, you'll have to ask Sean. I was thoroughly pissed about them, and I couldn't enjoy. I couldn't laugh. Like I couldn't because I'm just sitting here thinking, my God, this 3-year-old is hearing these,
Amy,
fuck you,
Amy was
Thunder, and all that stuff. All
Amy
these.
was wanting to earmuff that kid the whole time. She'd be like,
I
earmuff.
was about ready to call CPS. No.
You know them kids were doing that. We're
Oh,
doing that every time
my
it thundered from then on out.
exactly. Or just, oh my God. Anyway, you're bringing back bad memories now, but it is interesting.
My first movie was Bambi. This kid's first movie was Ted.
You did not grow up in the same kind of household. I'm telling you. So, but I'm not a huge fan of that kind of humor, sex humor. Like I don't like pretending that he's humping. I'm good. I don't have to see that. Kind of
Give me all the fart jokes for days though. I'll take all those.
All right. Well, then we moved on. We moved on to the next week on Raw. After a match between Shawn Michaels and Lance Cade, Flair made a full ring intro and Michaels bowed at his feet. Flair thanked the fans for the ovation. Flair and Michaels said Michaels is absolutely incredible, and he said being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame was undoubtedly the highlight of his career. But then he said there's only one more thing that could even make it better, and he pretty much wanted to have a match with HBK at WrestleMania. And Shawn didn't want to do it because he said, I don't want that on me. I don't want to be the guy that ends your career.
Don't put that ego on me, Ricky Flair.
And then Flair's like, well, it's not a given. It's not a given that you can beat me.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my career, if I wrestle you, is that a given? So
You should have said, I'm just a little bit tougher than a 200-pound sailor in a New York bar that beat the hell out of you.
No need to bring that back up, right?
And then we moved on to the Raw before Mania, where probably one of the most cold-blooded promos that Shawn Michaels ever cut. I mean, I remember it vividly when he said this. I mean, I'm like, oh my God. I almost cried when he said it to Flair.
And how old were you?
In 2008?
66.
42?
42. I'm just saying it was an
42
emotional.
and in the wrestling business for 3 years at that point.
I'm just saying it was a very
was so
emotional
green
time
under the-
period.
Yeah, because he starts to put over Flair and Flair tells him to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
He cuts him off and says nobody needs to tell him who he is anymore. And Michaels looked dumbfounded and Flair's finally snapped. And Flair brings out the NWA title, not the big gold, the actual 10 pounds of gold.
Ooh.
10 pounds of gold makes it on Raw. So I'm marking out huge at this point because that's the greatest wrestling belt ever in my mind.
So let me ask you, where did he get the belt from? I mean, like,
I think he had that one.
It was his at the time.
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know sometimes I didn't know if he actually owned that belt or
Yes,
if he got
he
it from
kept that belt.
somebody.
He kept that.
Awesome.
He kept that belt, and then and what had happened with that belt is he borrowed some money and used it as collateral.
Yes.
So WWE paid that loan off, and that's how they ended up with the belt.
Yeah.
Okay, so they own it now. I mean, they have it.
It's in Triple H's office.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I've never
Gianni,
been in the office, so I don't know.
Gianni's talking about when I said a sailor beat up Shawn Michaels. He said it was more than one sailor. Don't let the truth get in front of a good joke, Gianni. I know.
Exactly. And can I also say, Justin was just saying that I had a small Karen episode. Darren's over here saying that I'm one of those people that call out people when they have too many items in the express lane. No, that is not what I do. I don't care about that. But if you
I
bring
can
your
see Amy now. Amy, could there be a woman with a loaf of bread and a dozen eggs in front of her in the express lane? And he'll be like, hey, bitch, that's 13 items. Carry your ass.
But if you bring your kids to a Ted movie and your kids look like they're in preschool and they're watching it, I might be saying a lot underneath my breath. So,
and I just want to point it out that Amy dropped the F-bomb on this episode, okay?
Oh.
I only say it when it's. I mean, I was quoting something, so it's not a. I was
Yeah.
quoting the
Oh, that
song.
makes it okay.
If it's,
All
a,
It does.
if it's a quoted F, it's good.
Exactly. It's
right.
totally different.
We've totally corrupted this woman, Justin.
I take probably more blame of that than you do too, Dave.
Definitely. I've definitely hung around Justin a lot more. I think that's his fault.
So Flair goes on, talks about Dusty and Harley and Ricky and all the people that he'd fought, and told Shawn Michaels that he didn't think you respected me. He didn't think you respected me that much anymore. He goes, I want the best. I want the showstopper, and that is all. And then Shawn promised him that's what he'll give him. And then Flair thinks the promo's over, and Shawn calls him back to remind him of the story of Old Yeller. And he promises Rick on Sunday he's going to take him, Old Yeller, behind the woodshed and put him out of his misery. And Rick snaps, rips off his shirt, stomps on his coat, yells Old Yeller, slaps Shawn, and gets an audible gasp from JR on commentary, who's been silent the whole time. Slaps him again, and Shawn promises to give him his best and ends the segment. And then doing research for this, Rick wrestled Randy Orton. And Randy Orton tapped out to the figure 4. And Randy Orton was the champion. And I don't remember that.
Was it a house show?
It was on Raw.
Dude.
It was televised. I did not remember that. I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
It's televised? Oh, he was one of the ones. He was one of those who he was wrestling like leading up to his last, or if he lost,
right
it was over. So that was one of those.
Yeah, which made you. I mean, that's old school. I mean, the night before the Saturday night before before Kerry challenged Flair for the title at Texas Stadium, Kerry had a match with gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, and it lasted just a few seconds because right off the bat, Kerry Von Erich hit him with a discus punch and pinned him 1, 2, 3. And I remember being shocked because Jimmy Garvin had been the man.
Right.
And Kerry was so pumped to go get the belt that he beat Jimmy Garvin like that. So for Flair to tap out the champion before he goes after Shawn Michaels kind of would give you the impression that maybe Flair's not going to lose this match. Maybe it's not over for the Nature Boy. But I did not see it.
When you have that motivation and storyline of, if I ever lose, I'm gone, like that's a hell of a motivation.
Yeah.
So,
but I guess that the storytelling, the vehicle they used with the champion tapping to the figure 4 is, I mean, I think it's genius. I wish I'd seen. If I saw it, I don't remember it, and it seems like I would remember something like that.
Yeah. Huh.
But I don't know. So anyway, now why don't we watch the match?
Okay.
What's our time code? We are going to WrestleMania 24 on the Peacock application device on your television.
Guessing that's season 24?
Yes, season 24, and it's also episode 1 of season 24.
They do try to make it easy for us, right?
Now, what's our time code there, Dave?
We're going to start at 1 hour 24 and 11 seconds. 1 hour 24 minutes and 11 seconds.
1:24:11. Okay, I'm already there.
Amy, would you like to give us a countdown? Remind y'all to mute your Peacock. Mute your Peacock. You can turn on your captions.
Amy, that's Dave got the same answer out of you that I get out of my kids on a daily basis. And what's the answer to this, Dave?
That's so funny. All righty. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we see the showstopper himself.
You would know I'm buffering.
Oh.
And 3, 2.
No, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
The showstopper himself, Shawn Michaels, HBK, the first ever Grand Slam champion of the World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. Coming out here in his cowgirl hat and his little straw hat that he likes to gimmick up. That's a long ramp. Where was this at, Dave?
I think it's in Orlando, wasn't it?
It's a long ass ramp. It looks like Orlando. It's got palm trees and stuff back there.
Give me a time code.
Are you gonna Tony me this week? I'm 125.05, 125.08, 910.
I'm at 125.23.
Okay, I'm at 125.21. So
okay, I'm gonna pause. Tell me when you get to 28.
One there.
All right, we're synced up now. Yeah, here comes HBK strutting that ass.
I mean, you cannot deny he is Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, he is a performer and a half.
Oh, I to this day will tell you that he is the greatest in-ring. He is the greatest in-ring performer ever. Him and Flair are 1 and 1A.
Him and who?
Flair.
Ric Flair. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Look at Lillian.
I know she got like cutouts and all kinds of.
I just want to say, if you have an opportunity to go listen to Lillian Garcia sing the Star Spangled Banner, you should, because she does a little thing with the flag is still there. Yeah, she's tremendous.
Sean's still got a little bit of hair here.
Yeah.
What year would this have been? 24.
This is 2008.
8. Okay.
Look at that crowd. I mean, look at that setup. That is.
Well, it is a huge. It almost looks like too big of an arena for Orlando, wherever you said it was, but maybe it's just the way they're shooting it.
I'm thinking it's.
Oh, that's an outdoor thing.
Yeah.
It is outdoor.
It's all, yeah. Does Orlando have a stadium?
That's gotta be a football stadium.
Yeah. Does Orlando have a stadium?
I'll go to the chat. Am I right about this? Am I right about this being in Orlando? And here he comes.
Why would they have a stadium that big for outside? That's what I'm.
It was in New Jersey.
East
Rutherford, New Jersey.
They had this match in New Jersey?
Is it WrestleMania 35? No.
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. I was like,
I don't think East Rutherford has an outdoor arena either.
Oh, my bad. So sorry. Let me try this again. Oh, that was funny. Dallas. Well, is it Dallas?
Amy, stop. You're embarrassing yourself at this point.
Am I?
Just start singing I've Been Everywhere. You'll hit it eventually.
Oh, that's not
Look at that, man. I mean, that robe's in the Smithsonian Institute now.
And how many people can say that? Is there any other wrestler that has anything in the Smithsonian that you're aware of?
Not to my knowledge. You would think that maybe a Gorgeous George would, but I don't know that.
Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida.
Where the Florida Citrus Bowl took place. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to say.
Now watch this part. Here he comes. And I'm going to get weepy.
Oh.
Little Nate holds the ropes for him. Man. And there's the family.
You see Reed and David and I think Megan.
Megan and Ashley. Charlotte, if you will.
Beautiful robe, man.
It is a beautiful robe. One of my favorite colors. I love it with the white. I don't really like how I don't like the zip up part or whatever that is that goes all the way up the front of his chest.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. I don't like it when it zips up. I like it when he unrobes.
Yeah.
But I have a replica of that.
Yeah.
What?
The
robe?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one they sold?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I got it on a mannequin.
All right, Rick.
That's the one that came with the belt.
How old is Ric Flair at this moment? Do y'all know?
Let's see. This is 2008.
Oh, crap. What happened to my
He's
show?
73 this year. To take 73 minus 15 is 58.
Okay.
This is actually the only match, too, interesting, that you will ever see Rick in the shiny tights, the blue kind of shiny spandex. He always kind of had the regular tights that he wore in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
He popped out the shiny ones for this one, and I thought he looked good in the blue, and I liked it.
Shoulder tackle by HBK.
And his
look at that. There's some chain wrestling there. I go behind, got that arm. Now he reversed it. We're doing a little chain wrestling here. And Flair reversed it. Drop down. Float over. Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, do you think that at the time, was there anyone else, Dave, that could have been the right person for this other than Shawn?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. You don't think
maybe Triple H?
What if he would have done it with Steamboat? You think they could have put Steamboat and Flair in a match at WrestleMania?
I think that Steamboat has a medical issue at this time that put him on the do not touch list. Because I know that Steamboat had gone back to WWE in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he did some stuff in the ring and he got hurt. Just a freak accident.
Yeah.
So, but no. And also, I mean, with no disrespect to Ricky Steamboat, he's supporting cast to Ric Flair.
Right.
Steamboat didn't make Flair. Flair made Steamboat.
Mm-hmm.
No, and no disrespect to Steamboat when I say that. This Ricky Steamboat's one of the greatest performers ever. But, you know.
What about, now hear me out on this. What about a 2-on-1 match, Ric Flair versus the Mulkey Brothers at WrestleMania? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that might be good.
Packed house. I mean,
that would be a sellout at the curtain.
I would do that only if you made the Mulkey Brothers and George South.
No, you're asking too much, Pondwater. Now, just forget it. I mean, that is
just when it looks like the terrible Mulkey Brothers have got Rick down, Arn comes out and gives one of them a DDT, and Rick wins. See, I've already got this match booked.
I'd buy that.
Now, let me clarify, because I don't want y'all to think I'm crapping on Steamboat.
No.
I mean, we all know that Flair put Sting on the map. I would argue that Flair made Steamboat, put Steamboat on the map. Shawn Michaels, Flair didn't put Shawn Michaels on the map. But Shawn Michaels wanted to be Ric Flair. So, I mean, we'd love to have this match when both of them were in their prime. So, yeah, I think this was in that locker room, you know, Shawn Michaels was the choice. I mean, I think that it would have been anticlimactic with The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we'd already seen him recently.
Randy Orton wouldn't have been that big of a deal if he wrestled Randy, I don't think.
No, but I think Shawn or Triple H would have been the only two.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree that I think Shawn, because of that emulation, you know, I think that is the right choice. And so I'm glad, like you said, versus going between Triple H or Shawn, I definitely think Shawn was the better choice. Just again, he's Mr. WrestleMania.
At that time, people were still thinking every time Triple H did something, it was, oh yeah, Triple H has got to do that. Triple H has got to do that. Triple H.
Oh,
you know,
shit.
Oh, and I thought, oh, that's bad. That's for y'all aren't watching that. That's the spot where Shawn did a springboard off the middle rope towards the announcer's table. Flair moved.
And Shawn went belly first into the corner of that table on a backflip.
Oh,
yeah. Legend has it. Legend has it that he broke a rib there.
Yeah, that table did not break like it was.
No kidding.
He caught it.
You can see that thing just stuck to his ribs.
I feel like I broke a rib watching that. That was ugly.
Ken Jones here with us in the chat says, "Yeah, wrestling is fake."
So are boobs. So are boobs, but they're all real when they're in your mouth. What's your point, Ken?
That's
what?
A mouthful is all you need. That's what I was always taught growing up.
You know what you're using for leverage.
Exactly, Stephanie. Oh, that's Stephanie calling you, telling you to.
No, it's Bill Apter. Should I take the call?
Yes.
Go ahead. He's been on the show before.
Tell him we said hello.
Hi, Bill.
Humble brag. Hi, Bill. Oh, so basically it's just me, guys. Anything fun in the chat? Anybody want to ask any questions? Since it's just us right now.
I'm still here, Amy. I'm just trying to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you muted too. Okay.
I don't want you guys to hear me when I'm trying to transport. So I'll be listening.
Okay. Oh. All right.
And Big Red Andrew, have I jumped the shark yet? Had I jumped the shark? When Bill Apter calls, you think I'm not taking Bill Apter's call?
No, you need to take Bill Apter's call. You should have said, yes, Gianni. He has a question. Let's see what he says. And yes, when Apter calls, you answer.
All right, we're going back to the action now.
Yep.
I think, there's a chop and there's a punch. And Rick chops and Shawn tries to punch. Rick's got him up. He's holding him up. He's holding him up with a souffle.
I do like the I like how Rick is in the blue and white and Shawn's in the red and black, kind of, signature colors for them. Obviously, as the Heartbreak Kid. I like that.
Terry Weaver just pointed out in the chat.
Aw. Lord.
That's sad news.
I mean, 2023 has been a little rough.
Flair prefers calling it in the ring. He's always saying that you get out there and you go with what the crowd wants. You listen to the crowd. You bring the crowd up. When the crowd comes, you take them back down, and then you bring them back up again.
Who said that? Bobby, about does he prefer laying it out beforehand? He hates it. If you've been on the Zooms with Flair, they ask him about the Macho Man match, the retirement match. And
he said he couldn't work that way.
And Randy's always like, listen, this is move 1, this is move 74. Then we go to 67, back to 81. Like, no. Flair was just a guy that just went with it, called it in the ring. And
we got a moonsault from the top rope. And look at HBK grabbing that rib.
I mean, how?
If he really broke his rib, then that's an incredible performance. Because I broke a rib one time playing soccer, and I was on my motorcycle and had to ride my motorcycle home after the game, and I couldn't even get off the motorcycle. I had to get my son to come out and grab me under my arms and pull me off the back of the bike, because it was almost like it was cramping.
Yeah.
It would just cramp up.
I know guys that have broken ribs by sneezing, and that's a shoot.
like they say, that once that adrenaline, leaves your body, that's when you actually start feeling your pains. I'm sure that's all they're running on, because you got to be hurting with some of these moves.
I will say, Flair's
Oh, yeah,
endurance.
we're gonna have a kip up by HBK.
Flair's endurance has been fantastic in this match. He's been able to keep up with Shawn, I think, pretty well.
Exactly. Oh yeah, like you said, there's that rib probably is really.
Terry Weaver says he's an aggressive sneezer. I'm an aggressive farter, Terry. Is there such a thing as that? You're one of those guys that like makes people just jump out of their chairs when you sneeze, aren't you, Terry? Just like one of those big, loud from the holler.
Out of nowhere, just all of a sudden. And,
All
And
right,
I,
we got
and I guarantee it has a woo at the end. It's like woo.
we got Shawn going up to the top rope,
man, that's like the.
and he drops that elbow.
He's wanting this done, isn't he?
But he didn't make the cover. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and tune up the band. Tune it up. You got a broken rib. Stomp your foot. He's not tuning it up. Now he's tuning it up. Here we go. And Flair is all the way to the other side of the ring. And Shawn pulled up on it. Flair said, well, I'm not pulling up on nothing. How about some figure four for you, son? Go ahead, tap out. Tap out. Randy tapped out. He's a champion. Look at little Nate. Look at little Nate. Like, am I fixing to call for the bell? Am I fixing to call for the bell? Referee's working with him there, y'all. He's selling the enormity of that figure four. Oh, and it's been reversed.
Bobby says he's an aggressive sneezer as well, and I can attest to this. I've heard him in action. For such a little man, that's quite a sneeze that comes out of there.
Stephanie can attest that when I start sneezing, that it is obnoxious, really obnoxiously loud.
She sends him out with the geese when he starts sneezing.
1, 2. Oh! Shawn's having a hard time getting that bridge.
Oh my gosh. I can only, imagine doing all these moves with a broken rib, potentially.
Yeah, he couldn't do the full bridge.
Oh,
Oh, Flair. Uh-oh.
grab the rope.
1, 2. Oh. You're not gonna get it that way. Oh, I'm positive that Flair has wrestled Hanson before, Big Red.
Somebody was asking that before if they'd even wrestled. I was thinking the same thing. Surely they have. I don't remember it, but.
Oh, he whips him in the rope. Look at HBK doing the Flair spot in the corner.
Oh.
Chop block by the dirtiest player in the game.
There we go. See, that's what I like. That's some Hitman stuff right there. Take the knee out so you can wrap it up.
At this point, y'all, I was starting to believe that Flair was going to pull it off. Because he looked good in this match.
Had you resigned yourself when you bought this pay-per-view that this was going to be it?
Yes. Oh, small package. 1, 2, no. No. Now we're going again. Lock it in. Lock it in. Break it. Break it off.
You better watch out or Shawn's going to lose his smile and quit in the middle of the match. He's got that thing cinched. Nowhere for Shawn to go. Now here
See
he
how
is.
as soon as those shoulders hit the mat that little Nate started counting?
Yeah, he was on it.
Man, Charles Robinson is such an incredible referee.
Does he still ref?
Yeah.
Does he? I wasn't for sure.
Yeah, our good friend Jimmy Sorensen took a picture of him at the SmackDown that he attended. Because he also breaks. The referees are
Yeah.
also ring crew.
Yeah. I have seen Charles Robinson do that at house shows. So I did, but I guess I didn't realize that picture was recent. I guess I feel like I saw it.
And Flair's working him over in the ropes. And he just keeps on. But notice that Flair's not going for he's not trying to choke him on the ropes. Even though he was in the ropes, Flair just kept on the back of that knee.
Ooh.
Oh!
That was a perfectly placed super kick.
But can he make the cover?
Gianni says not only does Little Nate still ref, but he runs the ring crew still.
Let me tell you something about Bobby. Bobby makes a point about Mike Chioda talking about setting up the ring. And they had a problem with the ring at the Wrestling Showcase in Chicago, and if Chioda wouldn't have been there, that ring would not have been near as good as it was. Because Chioda knew. I mean, you just don't put it together, throw the boards up, and hang the ropes.
Right.
I mean, you got to tighten them, because when you do something to one side, it's pulling against the other.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole thing, you can make it lean, or it can be off kilter, or the ropes can be off.
Right. And so I can get hurt.
If you're cranking it, it's hard to do. It's not a one-man job, because what you're doing to one side, you got to do the other.
I kind of agree with Eddie. Is this the last time we kind of saw Nate as the last remnants of Nate? Because after this, it was kind of like, you know what I mean? It wasn't this. I don't feel like he wrestled as well as he did in this match after this.
Yeah, his TNA stuff was not. Yeah,
And it does help that he's working with Shawn Michaels. You know, they talk about that a lot. It's a lot of times it's the partner that you have in the ring. And again, not saying that he's not good. Obviously he is.
but
how
about that time? Look at this. He go, the dirtiest player in the game right here. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about that match that Flair had for the championship on against Triple H on Raw. And Triple H was telling him, you're just going to go down there. You're going to come out there and lay down for me. And Flair was like, no. And,
right.
But, I mean, Triple H brought out a great match out of him that night. So.
Like you said, it's like, is he going to do it?
Oh, now we're gonna try to put Rick in the figure 4. What was that?
He steps into it differently.
That's not even a figure 4. He didn't put his foot over the.
He don't even have it in right.
Trying to do his version.
That might be a figure 2.
You can step into the figure 4 that way.
That's what I like about watching these matches 100 times, because I'm looking at it like, oh, I hadn't noticed that the first.
Right.
That's the first time I've noticed that. It's kind of like watching Star Trek after all these years. Oh, look, Uhura's got a runner in her stocking. I didn't notice that the first 82 times I saw this episode.
Right.
Because HBK didn't wrap himself around the leg the way that Rick does.
No, he just like gave up and dropped down.
Well, you can step your leg in and wrap their leg in like that and still have it on right. But he effed it up somehow. It wasn't on there correct.
That was some Bret Hart jabroni stuff right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and Andrew Hermes can just go over there in your little fan club together and bark at Clouds and bark at Bret Hart all day long.
And he barks right back. We'll look and Darren, we'll look for for Flair Hansen. If we can find those, maybe
That'd be fun to watch.
maybe we'll do an episode about Stan Hansen, and we'll watch a Flair match on. If it's on YouTube, we'll broadcast it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now they're both just sitting on. Rick's laid out. Shawn's squirting away, sitting on his ass. I think he's.
Here we go.
I think he's about to tune it up.
Oh man.
Shawn now starting to get emotional. He's lost his smile and he's starting to cry.
And I'm truly thinking the first time I watched this is that Flair's fixing to reverse this. I'm sorry, I love you, bam. And then I knew at that point, Flair ain't kicking out of that. 1, 2, 3.
He hugs on him.
HBK kissing Rick's gimmick scars on his head.
Hey, HBK's kissed worse.
Oh, I'm sure.
Shout out to Sonny.
I'm glad I got Andrew half hot. That was the goal. I tried to get you whole hot, so I still got a little bit of time left.
And there you have it.
There we have it. After all that, here we are. Shawn Michaels comes away victorious and ends Ric Flair's WWE career, we should say. He would then go on for TNA and whatever. Of course, wrestle for some half-hearted promotion from Conrad Thompson and have him counted out by Dave Miller. So this is not the end, but it's the end of the world as we know it for Ric Flair's WWE wrestling career, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Man.
And let's circle back to the news we got during that match because we just kind of glossed over it. But WWE Hall of Famer superstar Billy Graham has passed away at the age of 79.
There it is. We have breaking news here.
News broke via Ric Flair's Twitter account.
He had been in the hospital for several.
Well, I read yesterday that they had taken him off life support, I think, or he was on, or maybe he was on life support yesterday.
And I saw a video one time that they brought Superstar Graham back, and I remember that WWE had done a video. He was going in to have his hip. He's having his hip replaced, and he was doing like an anti-steroid message. And he explained that steroids they were taking out the old hip. They were just going in and taking it like handfuls. So it was just mush. Then he said that's what the steroids had done to him. And I remember they showed video of the surgery. It's pretty gnarly.
Really?
The Superstar Graham, WWE champion, defeated by Bruno Sammartino. You've probably seen him recently in the video segments of Dusty with Cody, talking about that. That's who Dusty challenged for the WWF title.
Yeah.
Colorful
guy. He was kind of the first. He was kind of Hulk Hogan before Hulk Hogan. I think Hogan ripped some of his stuff off of Superstar.
Oh yeah, everybody did. I mean, Billy Graham had said, "I'm the man of the hour, the man with the power, the too sweet to be sour." I mean, the first time I heard that was Gino Hernandez, but I've heard Dusty say it, and I've heard, I heard a clip of Graham saying it when Graham went to Florida. Graham went to Florida and started his Karate Man gimmick, wearing the karate pants and the black belt, and actually challenged. He was one of the challengers when Kerry Von Erich was champion. When he went to Florida, he defended against Superstar Graham. So,
Well, I also want to say prayers up to Eddie Prather, another guy he grew up watching in the 60s and 70s, passes away. So sorry to hear that, Eddie. We know he was one of your favorites as a small slapdick back when Kennedy was assassinated. But here is R.I.P. to superstar Billy Graham, truly a legend in the WWE and really in all of wrestling. But yeah, sad to see someone like that go. How old was he? Does it say?
79.
79. All right. Well, he had a good long life. So we hate to hear that, but anything else?
He's not suffering anymore, I'll tell you.
We've had a lot of death on this show. We opened with it and we're closing with it.
I know. 20, yeah. We've had a lot. 2023 has been a kind of maybe a little rough
Yeah.
in that aspect. You had the and Jay Briscoe, and it's Jay,
Yeah.
right? Or Mark? Jay. Like I said, a little bit. I do want to say, just because there was a question about the trivia. See, I try to do tricky things. So Tommy Dreamer, he actually won the title and lost it in the same night in 2000 at a Cyber Slam is what it was called, at an event that ECW had. So, see, sometimes you don't think about those little 35-minute title reigns. So just to kind of clarify, that is why he
I'd like
is
to
said
say
to
that
have.
I knew that when I got that right, but I had no idea, and I guessed.
So that's how sometimes, that's like I said, I try to be a little tricky. So that's how I could say he won it twice.
I didn't
Technically,
remember him winning it in WWECW,
right.
but I do
Yeah.
remember him winning in ECW. And it seems like that they had mentioned that was his first reign, and it was stuck out to me because I would have figured that Tommy Dreamer would have had one of the early reigns in ECW.
Right. No. Yeah, it was 2000. And then, like you said, the second one I think was 2006. So he'd even, he had done that, and he stuck around for a couple more years. I don't know. He's a kind of a utility player, like you said. You think a lot of times when you think ECW, you do think a lot about Tommy Dreamer, but he really did hold. He didn't need the championships, I guess. He was just that is who it was.
He was kind of maybe the Rowdy Piper of ECW.
Yeah, yes, it does, Gianni. If it's in the record books, it counts. And it was in the record book.
But look, it's 23 years later, and Tommy Dreamer's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank all of you guys that have joined us, except for Andrew Hermes, of course. And we would like to thank all of you listening to the Pond Water Dave show. Do you guys have anything to say before we jump up out of here? Pond Water, I know you're getting ready to do another live thing with Mr. Bill Apter over on Ad Free Shows.
Yeah, he's calling me right now.
Find out what he wants. See what he wants.
Speak of the devil.
You can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he doesn't realize. Yes, sir. Listen how nice Pond. Took it off. I do want to thank you all for coming tonight. And please, if you enjoy us, tell your friends to join us live. Hit the subscribe button. Hit a 5-star review. What else do they do? Write a 5-star review.
Ring that bell. Hit that bell. Ring the bell. Right? We got to do that. Do all those things. I don't know. All the things that you do on YouTube. We want to thank you guys seriously for being here. We do appreciate your comments and your participation in the show while we're doing it. Next week, I have no idea what we're doing, but I'm sure it'll be fun, and we'll have some good trivia from Amy. Go ahead, Dave.
At 10:15 Eastern Time, 9:15 Central, I'll be on Ad Free Shows with Bill Apter for Ask Bill Live. We were going to talk about tonight's topic was going to be out of the title picture. Where does Cody Rhodes go from here? Plus anything that you want to talk to Bill about. He's there to interact with you, and it's open to all members of Ad Free Shows. So it's not just a top guy. If you get Ad Free Shows, you can join.
That's
but
right.
And
you never know. He might ask you to show him your refrigerator.
Well, no, he's quite upset because superstar Billy Graham was a very good friend of his.
Yeah.
So now we're going to pivot and talk about Billy Graham.
Aww.
Yeah.
I hate that. And yes, Mr. Abner is quite the personable person. So, like you said, he will learn your name. He will ask you questions. He will look in your fridge. He will ask you about what's behind you.
Yep.
Just an absolute, very entertaining, great person to hang out with. I'm looking forward to it's 9:15 my time because I'm in Central. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, please give our condolences to Bill because I'm sure, and this is terrible, but I'm sure that's a contemporary for him. And so, when everyone around you is passing, I guess in a weird way, you start thinking about all that you've gotten to see and do. And he's, if they're really good friends, that's really sad. So
It is. We're
hate
ending
that.
on a downer tonight.
Well, we hope we didn't down you too much, everyone. Um, for the great Pondwater Dave Miller, for Miss Amy Vaughn, the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, we want to say uh, prayers for Carla and Joshua Odom's family.
We definitely do.
We love you guys. We're going to miss you, Josh.
Mm.
And please take care of yourself and each other. So long.
Hey, and I want to add to that. Pick up the phone and call somebody and tell them you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Take the picture every chance you get. And understand that life is short and it's precious, and tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Mm-mm.
So when he tells you to take care of each other, there's nothing wrong with telling people in your life that you love them.
That's right.
That's right.
On that note, I love you guys.
Love you all as well. And we love you guys for listening. So long, everyone.
Bye bye.